UI/UX portfolio video on Intellipaat. Do you know, friends, that UI/UX designer salary in India ranges from 2.1 lakhs to 15 lakhs LPA with an average salary of 5.4 lakhs. Now, before we discuss our today's agenda, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon. So first, we are going to discuss about the general guides. Moving ahead, we are going to learn about preparing your story. Then, we will discuss the projects to add. Moving ahead, we are going to create a storyboard for your project. Then, we are going to learn about engaging your audience. Moving ahead, we are going to learn about emphasizing your roles and contribution. Then, we are going to learn about adding secret ingredients. And at the end, we are going to conclude our sessions with creating online presence.
So let me just get started. So the UX portfolio is the most important weapon which will help you get a job or start your own startup and all. So because UX portfolio is a representation of you as a designer, and it communicates a lot about who you are, what you can do, and how you can add value to an organization or a product. So UX portfolio is basically, it's a manifestation of you as a personality and also about how you can contribute at large. So I will talk around multiple aspects of UX portfolio, which tells everything. Portfolio is a big time strategy thing. So an effective portfolio is basically an effective strategy that you're creating. Because when you are about to give an interview, the first interview that usually happens is a getting to know each other kind of an interview. And that getting to know phase is something where people will not spend 1 hour with you. They will spend half an hour with you. And in that half an hour, it's kind of a T20 match. So you have to tell everything, present your best self within that half an hour. So it's basically more of a design work than a strategy work. That how can you, and also of this half an hour, you will have, questions from your hiring manager. You will have questions. You will ask questions. You will have an introduction session. So effectively, you will get roughly 25 minutes to present your portfolio, and it will be mostly online, right? So this is something which happens once you cross a fine border when someone shortlists your portfolio. So when we have an open position, then we receive more than hundreds of portfolios for that open position. And you have to be empathetic to the hiring manager, that a hiring manager is a human being. No machine does screening of the portfolios. So a portfolio is screened for say 5 minutes, 10 minutes at maximum. If your hiring manager is diligently screening all the portfolios, and then your portfolio will be shortlisted for the next round. So your hiring manager is basically getting 5-10 minutes to roughly go through your portfolio, and that person screens your portfolio, and then the recruitment partners, they fix up meeting with you. So the half an hour call. So that half an hour call means that your online portfolio or the unspoken portfolio has actually qualified itself, right? So that's why I'm trying to break down the entire journey of a portfolio screening, because then you will understand the strategy behind it, and then you can plan it accordingly. Because simply creating projects and adding them in a portfolio will not help. I am telling you honestly, it needs a lot of planning and storyboarding. It's almost like making a movie. So basically if you see, there are two major aspects. One is the unspoken aspect, where you are actually, you have your website and someone lands up to your website, or you have applied to a job where your website link is there, and the hiring manager opens the link, clicks the link, and when that person clicks the link for the first time, they will, like scan through very fast over all the projects that you have highlighted, and they'll try to discover attributes which makes you special, and which attributes which will make you valuable to add values in the organization. And then that second meeting will be fixed. And then if you are applying for Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook, all those big short MNCs, and then you will go through lots of rounds of portfolio review. You will have 6 rounds at ease to qualify for a job. But that first round is the most important round. So, Google did a really fantastic job by laying down. This is a public post, so you can also find it. So, if we go through the points shared by Google, which are like the general guides. So, how do you prepare your design portfolios that highlight your experience? So, include at least 3 to 5 case studies that highlight your range of experience and skills. See, Google is a very minimalistic, the way they communicate is through core words, through minimalistic emphasis, but every word matters. Like that highlight your range of experience and skills. This is an important line. Range of experience means that how versatile you are, whether you have worked on mobile and web, whether you have worked on Android and iOS, whether you have worked on like B2B and B2C projects, whether you have worked on uh, like uh, like research, whether you have worked on design systems, whether you have worked on like high detailed crafts, or whether you have worked on your self-driven projects, whether you have worked on projects for companies or projects for startups, whether you have worked on incubation or maintenance projects. So this range of experience is actually talking about a lot of things. So this is where we will mostly, try to prepare a story. In that part, we will discuss more. Then show your end-to-end process and clearly articulate the user problem and final solution. This may include, but is not limited to sketches, wireframes, mockups, and prototypes. Right. Then what is more important, if you see, they have marked it in bold, because most of the times what happens is that in your portfolio you will present, this is the user research I have done lots of qualitative research, lots of quantitative research, data gathering, data synthesis. So you may be speaking of like actually you'll be speaking of so many things that sometimes becomes impossible for one individual to do. But many a times it happens that we are part of a team and there are different team members who are taking care of different stuff. So it is very important to call out your role, that I was part of UI, I was part of research, I was part of design system, or I was part of the prototyping or high fidelity animations. Whatever it is, you have to call out. And then you may be part of one or two roles also. But it is extremely important to create the structure of your team and what is your role. So typically a project, if you say that this is a XYZ project, then you have to mention that this project is created in 3 months. There was a team of 4 members, and then these were the roles of these 4 members, and this was my role in it. Right? Then include visuals and explanations. We recommend sharing both visuals and text within each case study to describe your entire problem. Tip is consider using infographics, diagrams, and other visuals to quickly communicate ideas and tell the story. This is also extremely important point, because as I mentioned, like if you have an opening in Google, and invariably there will be like 500 or 600 applications for single opening, and then that opening will be mapped to one hiring manager who is working in Google. That person has to go through or scan all those interested profiles, because it's a very difficult and tedious process. You don't know who is what, who has done what work. So you have to check all the examples, all the portfolios, and in that run, if some so basically you have to think about portfolio accessibility. Like in portfolio accessibility is not related to someone having impaired vision, someone having other disabilities, visible or invisible disabilities, but it is about the ease of grabbing the essence of your portfolio in limited time with maximum impact. So this is extremely important. So that's why Google recommends to use infographics, diagrams, and other visuals to quickly communicate ideas and tell the stories. Then provide context. So in the absence of presenting a portfolio, ensure someone can view it, navigate it, know the exact problem and solution you developed without having questions about how you did it. So creating your portfolio is actually a project in itself. You have to create user flow. You have to create an entire navigation model, that this is how someone will land in my portfolio. This is how I will draw someone to click this thing to see that. This is how that person is going to come out of that. And this is how, so at no point of time the person should feel lost, that I don't know what to do, how to come out of it. And all those unspoken questions should be answered automatically by virtue of your design, the way the portfolio is designed. So this actually, that's why you have to refer to a lot of good portfolios which are proven portfolios. People with that portfolio someone has, then you can follow the style and the benchmark that they have done, and you can also fall in the same pattern and bring good results. Then these are some essential questions that Google says that you should question yourself. That is, my portfolio easy to follow and user friendly? Does each case study reflect how I drive my design thinking and process? And does the visual style reflect my level of craft and attention to detail? So, couple of things to look at. One thing is that does each case study reflect how I drive my design thinking and process? So, process and design thinking and how you are solving the problem, what are steps you took to solve the problem, should be communicated extremely well in all the projects that you show. And does the visual style reflect my level of craft and attention to detail? So when I talk about craft and attention to detail, it's all about the finesse of your final end product, the UI or the micro and interactions and everything, which you bring. So does the visual style reflect or do justice to it? So this is also another important thing. So if you are creating your portfolio, this is a single thing which you can get it online. Google portfolio, UX design portfolio tips, and you can download it. You can take a printout of it. And once you're creating your portfolio, this is just a very small, quick checklist where that you are actually touching upon all these important points. Right. So now we will slowly go into like preparing the story part of the portfolio. So when we say, so this is, I think this is quite simple and easy to understand, but we will understand more once we do a deep dive into some case studies and see what exactly Google was meaning when they were saying it. So first thing is that how do you prepare your story? So currently we are trying to talk about this second point, that how do you prepare your story? So the like you let me just quickly share an example. So this is a portfolio website created by someone called Pratika Joshi. So she works in Google. She worked in Microsoft before, and her portfolio is also extremely easy to follow, pretty decent and all. So see how effectively this person has communicated who she is, where she is working on, and then this is this about section, which is also very important because people will not only hire your skills, but they will also try to look for a team member who will gel well with the team. They will like to know more beyond your work. So this about section is extremely clearly defined, that where she is from, and how she started her career and all. And then the detailed stuff are all kept in the resume section. Then she is fond of creating illustrations. She loves to do photography and all, which is like quite typical of any designer about me section. Like usually designers do touch upon other creative aspects other than their discipline, and this is something which is a nice way to communicate that this is who I am, this is who you will be or who I will be working with. So this gives and even this photograph of her in this nice background, this also communicates that she is extremely sensitive towards these nice spaces and all. So this is a really nice way of communicating the about me section. So once what did I exactly mean by preparing a story? So you have to first of all prepare your foundation story, that okay, how many projects do I need to add in my portfolio, and what kind of projects do I need to add in my portfolio. So imagine like this is kind of your portfolio section. So we just quickly create a simulation. So this is kind of my portfolio. So this is project one. So typically, okay, so what is that preparing a story part? So let us discuss this. So imagine that this is my project one, and you have to first make this high level strategy that from the Google guideline you can see you cannot add more than five projects. More than five projects will be too much to cover for anyone in a portfolio interview. So project, there will be three core projects which you have to work on. So first one, then you have to work on the second project, and then you have to work on the third project. So, and also one thing to keep in mind is that all these three projects should bring their own flares. So they should not look like repetitive and in the same formula being added again and again and again. So that is one something which has to be very carefully you have to take care of. Now there are various aspects that you will be covering. For example, you will be covering design thinking. Design thinking, you will be covering out of all those three projects, one of the projects will be where you have done the highest level of problem solving. I mean, you are satisfied, your mentors are satisfied. So problem solving is done at the highest level. Then there will be areas. Let me make several copies of these. So this is kind of the strategy that you have to create. That okay, what are things, what are my core areas? Because there will be someone in your batch who will be extremely good with craft skills. So let's add craft skills. So what is craft skill? Craft skill is how good you are in creating your component system, or how good you are in creating your red lines, which are the developer hand of final figmas, and how good you are with micro interactions and creating animated prototypes across. So these are all your craft skills. So your finer UI skills and your finer execution skills. Then you will have say skills like design system which you can create. Then maybe you can have skills like where you have collaboration. So these are all different roles actually, if you see. Then you can have role like where you have done a detailed design research, and this is something which will show you, highlight you as design research. That this is my highest or most valuable contribution. So when we talk about this part, that highlight your experience, tell us clearly identify your role and impact in each case study, and highlight any cross-functional collaboration. So if most of you are working and creating projects of your own, if you are not working on a real life project, then the first problem that happens is that that project is a hypothetical project. It is never coded, it is never released to the end user, it is never a live project. So I guess most of you will be having this kind of anxiety that for fresher all the projects will be like that. So how do we create or how do we create impact through that? So I will talk about projects which you can take up. So this is heuristic evaluation. Heuristic evaluation you can do, and then heuristic evaluation will be followed by a redesign. Heuristic evaluation followed by redesign. So this will be another level of project that you can add. And then there will be projects which are heavy with micro interactions. You can have projects where you have done usability testing, and so all these three projects will have either of these options, either of these things. So basically you are a superhero ninja and you have all these skills, but you don't want to put all these skills in all the projects, so people will be bored. So if you say, and it's also not that you have to put everything together, so you have to put that okay, out of all these things, so this is kind of your Pandora box. This is something from where you'll be choosing. So you will think that okay, out of all these things, and there can be even more. So it's not that the list is not limited to this. So you may think that okay, I as a designer, I think my design systems understanding and my craft skills are my highest thing. So I am a really good person with my craft. Got it. Then the second thing is that I am fairly good with design research. And then the other thing I can do is that my problem solving skills are really good, and I can club my problem solving with design thinking, and I will do it around heuristic evaluation and the redesign project. So this is something that I will do, or I can even mark this design research with this thing. So I will do it around heuristic evaluation, and I will do a redesign, and I will do problem solving, design thinking, little bit of design research, and I will do uh, maybe usability testing at the end. So this will create a fair amount of good balance of things that you want to showcase. So when you say that what all, and then collaboration is something which you can say that I will add across, and okay, micro interactions I can put over there. So this project will be bang on my craft skills. And then collaboration is something which you can say that okay, these are the two things, and I believe that okay, chalo, these two projects I can talk about a more detailed collaboration, or it can be either way. Or it can be three projects also. So it depends that how you want to frame. So this is kind of the first level of strategy that you are creating. That okay, on a high level, I will have this particular on a high level, I will have the first project, and then this is also important. Which one should be your first project? To start with this, or to start with this, or to start with this? Because the first impression is the most important impression. So you can say that okay, this craft skill or this particular project, I can add it as my maybe third project. So this is always the best way to exit an interview is that when you show extremely high level craft with interactions and animations and all those stuff, and then you conclude the interview. Then people will be like, wow, this is like a really, he knows all the processes, problems, and everything, and at the same time he's doing this. And okay, so this is kind of the second project which you can put like this, and then the first project can be like this. So the first, second, and third project can be in this order. So now you know that okay, I have actually found these three things. I have, this is the kind of craft or the kind of narration I want to communicate these are all my skill sets that I want to sell in through my portfolio in the form of three projects. So this is a UX UI case study. This is a project from scratch. Someone actually created a project for people to, so this is the project actually, a go-to social app for discovering great products. It's kind of an e-commerce application that someone created from scratch. It is a hypothetical project. 3 months were spent, two people were involved, and this is kind of the problem statement, user verbatims, the solution, the design process, user research, primary research, right? Key insights from survey, qualitative research, key insights from interviews, then secondary research, then affinity mapping, research outcome, competitor analysis, target market, then you have user personas, then you have empathy maps, then you have user journey map, then you have as is user flow, then you have to be user flow, then you have ideas, and after those ideas, you will have the task analysis, then card sorting, then information architecture, then visual language, color palette, logo design, sketch, mid fidelity wireframes, and then this is the high fidelity wireframe. So this should be one project for sure, but not all three projects. You will not have time also to show. See, in this project, the craft skills are shown at a high level. So if you take up one of these projects where you have a problem solving skill, like for example, you have found that these days people that Uber and Ola taxis, majority of the metro cities, people are facing a problem that this taxi business is not working because the drivers know where the destination is and they're refusing to go. So I am creating a taxi portal which solves this problem, and there will be no refusal. So the design is such that there will be no refusal. It will be a win-win for all. So you're finding a problem. Then you are talking to people who are using Ola, Uber, both the drivers as well as passengers. You are finding core insights. Then you are creating the survey. So you're doing primary and secondary research, and after that you are actually creating that entire new project incubation flow, which I just now shared. But that actually is one of the projects. Someone will go through it. You can have two projects also in the same manner, but while presenting, you should actually emphasize for that call. So I just, before starting, I mentioned there are two levels of your portfolio. One portfolio is the website portfolio, where people will go and then they will find everything and then they will come out of it and then they will shortlist you. So if it is a formula based thing, all the projects are in the same way, people will think that it's a no-brainer for you. Like you just take projects, put it in the grinder, and then the same thing comes up. So you have to add your specialization. So you have to add areas which are different than conventional projects, because you have three trump cards, right? So one project like that, another project where it shows that you can improve existing product by doing heuristic evaluation, which is a very typical research. We don't do a heuristic evaluation while we're incubating a project. Incubation, after a post incubation only heuristic comes. Pre incubation heuristic does not come. So when you have a post-incubation project, a pre-incubation project, and then another project is your craft skill or the design systems, micro iterations, all those things. Because if you are joining a company as an IC, you are expected to deliver pixels. And when it comes to pixels, the craft skill is extremely important. And most companies these days, they do have design systems in place. So they expect you that you have worked with design systems. So here I will cover one more important part, that what kind of additional attribute do you want to put to your projects. Like, do you want to put this thing for web or mobile, and this one whether you want to put it for a B2B scenario or a B2C scenario, and whether you want to put this thing for no. So these are all another layer of the axis where you're trying to map the projects. That this, if you remember that leafy project, this is a mobile application, right? This one is also mobile, this is also mobile, the one is also mobile, the heuristic one is also mobile. So you have to balance your projects in a way and then use those projects for the position that you are applying for, because not every job comes with the same level of expectation from you. For example, right now I work on SaaS product, which is a software as a service product. It's a cloud product from Microsoft. It is a web product. So I work in Fluent Web, but I may work on Fluent Mobile also, or later on I may switch job, I may work on iOS mobile also. So those things add value to your profile, that this person has handled mobile and web both, right? Okay, let me just add one more thing, which is responsive reflow. So when you talk about responsive reflow, it's all about this aspect where, say, now I can give you an example. Say I go to Behance and then we go to YouTube. Right now the desktop resolution is 1920 but if I inspect this page and if I open it in a mobile, so this is how the page will shrink to a mobile format, this one. So this is the way pages are created in a responsive way. And also when you go here, for example, if you go here and there is a zoom level, so pages which are at 100% zoom, there are accessibility requirements that your page should be ready for 400% zoom. So when you zoom a page to 400%, see in YouTube how it happens is these tiles at different zoom levels, see it change to from 4 tile to 3 tile. Then from 3 tile it will change to 2 tile. From 2 tile it will change to 1 tile. And this is the 400% zoom. So if I have to talk about YouTube, YouTube is perfectly designed for 400% zoom. What happens in 400% is that this header, these navigations, the patterns, they also change. But not all products are meant for 400% zoom. If I take you that maybe I take you to IRCTC, and then if I zoom it to say 400%, see the panel itself took most of the page, this one, and it is absolutely useless at 400%. So this page is never designed to support 400%. And close this thing, you are totally lost. And this is a problem faced by most products, mostly Adobe, Google products. So see, this is a perfect example. That's why you can see that this is working fine. Maybe if I open some kind of, say, let me go to Amazon also. So this is Amazon. If I zoom in and if I increase the zoom level, it will be, see the tiles change from 4 to 3 tiles, and then it will again go your banner on the top is coming here. So basically at 400%, it should have become a one tile card. Even for Amazon, this is not sorted, and this will be everywhere. Wherever you see, na, this will be there. So can you find this thing at all helpful? YouTube, even at 400% zoom, even at 400% zoom, I can actually play this video. It will go to this, sorry. I can actually play videos and it will play, right? So this thing, see, as soon as I hover, this thing got, automatically playing started, and the header, it disappears. This is a pattern which is used by Google by YouTube to actually make 400% as useful as 100% zoom. But Amazon, on the other hand, does not make it accessible at 400% zoom for you to do shopping. See, the images are getting pixelated and all. So when you're saying that I want to work for mobile and I want to take a web to a mobile, that is a, the way it becomes responsive, how the whole thing can fit into a smaller this thing, real estate. So if I suppose if I take this page out, and then if I try to shrink it down, so this is how I want to check the responsive reflow. Till one level it happens, but then it breaks after. So the breakpoints are not well defined. So this is a really nice topic that you brought up. You can add projects for responsive reflow. And also you can bring in projects which can talk around other things like accessibility. That one of your projects, your focus was to work on accessibility. So these are some of the key things that I wanted to share. That this is how you can create a high level strategy, that what kind of projects I should bring out. Now this is one level, but till now we don't know that what is the project that I'm going to do. So I know that my project is going to be, let us call this project, this is an end-to-end project, E2E project, right? So this is an end-to-end project, and you can say that my role, because I was the only designer working, I worked on end-to-end thing. So what is this project going to communicate? This project is going to communicate that you as a designer, you are familiar with each and everything that a designer should know. That means your theories, your fundamentals are extremely solid. So once we go to the other screen where the portfolio website just now I shared, I think this one, yeah. So if you recall this Leafy portfolio, we'll go through this case study later on. But once you see this Leafy case study, everyone will know that okay, this guy knows information architecture, knows about affinity mapping, knows about whatever UX jargon you say, they have added everything. But this is not real life. Reality does not work like this. In real life, you will not be creating personas. Design researchers will be creating personas. You will be consuming the personas. But in one of the projects, if you have created this thing, then people will know that okay, this guy knows about persona. Then and also there is one important thing where you are building empathy with your user. You are sensitive towards the user's needs. All those things. And then you can create the user journey map. You can bring the lows and highs in the experience, and where things are going good and when things are going bad. And then you know how to create user flows. So basically this shows that I know stuff that you're looking for from a UX designer. And also this talks about my core problem solving. But the other projects that I discussed, this shows your craft skill mostly. This shows that when you will be working on their project, then how well you can deliver the projects, how good you are with the craft. Because this is something which I personally, as a hiring manager, I struggle a lot. People join saying that I know Figma, and it takes me 3 months to teach them basics of Figma. And this is something, these days UX portfolios are extremely deceptive. People will put lot of wireframes and these things, but who knows whether they are using some component library from Figma? Nobody can track, right? So that's why sometimes there are some working sessions also where we want people to actually create frames for us, create pixels for us, so that we know how good they are with the skill. Because finally, even if you're using a design system, if you are not familiar with how, I guess all of you have learned Figma, but you have to be very, very familiar with auto layouts, variants, and all those disciplines of Figma, so that you can deliver good level pixels. So, and also this design research and heuristic evaluation and redesign part will bring another flavor to it. So I, as a individual, when I will go through a portfolio, I will feel that okay, this person knows end to end. This person knows how to find points to improve in an existing product. That means once this person joins, I will ask him to do a heuristic, or I'll ask her to do a heuristic evaluation of the product and try to see how things are done. Because this is one of the first things that we tell anyone who joins our team, that okay, you are new to the product, you are unbiased, why don't you see how things can be made better or where you are getting confused. So that brings us a lot of insight. So that is part of an onboarding also, where that person knows that uh, this is where it is, this is how I have to navigate in the product, and this is where I'm feeling lost. So but because we are in the product for a long time, we don't see those points because we see it every day. And okay, so these are the three type of projects. Now let us look into the next point, which is that, so this is kind of, this is preparing your story. So this is your story, but see, if you are not good with these things, then do not put this thing. Then you have to remove this stuff, then you have to mix and match few stuff, and then put stuff like that. But then in your presentation, do not show the same thing. You have to put little emphasis on few things, little emphasis on other things. So this is not a thumb rule thing. This is based on your available skill set. So if you are not having enough skill set to put research and all these things, then you have to go around some other route, right? Because not everyone is, these are all the different attributes of UX, and you may not be good with one of the things, or you may be extremely good with one of the things. So this is how you're selling yourself, right? Okay, then the next point is that projects to add. So how do you add projects to your portfolio? This is the most important, and the question that all of us ask, that what projects do I add in my portfolio, and how do I know which project to add in my portfolio? All of you will be doing a self project. So what if the brief is also not given to you? So imagine you are working on the travel planning app, but most of you will have a travel planning app. So how do you find projects which you do not own? I mean, you have to find it from thin air. You have to basically cook food from thin air. So this is the most challenging thing that we do. So the first thing is that I will tell you some real techniques through which you can do. So in these things, you have to find things which you are connected to. So there are different genres of project, right? You can actually, I will share a resource with all of you, which is called Page Flows. So Page Flows is a paid application. So you have to pay $100 for a year, and what you get for $100 is fantastic. You get the major screens, user flows for all major important products of today. Say you want to work on, so in Page Flows, what happens is that you actually get a list of all products, like, okay, so basically, either you get all the products, or you get all the user flows, or you can see the categories. So this is what I wanted to hit upon. So many categories of products are there if you see. So actually, it should not be difficult to find the project, which project you should do. That a brief was given for a travel planning thing, right? So let's go to T. This is travel. In travel, these are the different best players in the world in travel. So let's go to Hopper. I have never seen Hopper, so I'll go to Hopper. These are all the different user flows for Hopper. Onboarding on Hopper, finding flights on Hopper, finding hotels on Hopper, general browsing on Hopper. So if we go to general browsing on Hopper, we actually see all the screens that are there, and also we see recorded screens. So we can actually see how they actually, they have got carrot cash. Okay, flights and hotels, simple navigation. Suddenly you get notification, price drop. So you can freeze the price like this. So this is, I'm just sharing this thing because when we are starting without thinking around these things, we sometimes feel lost that what kind of project we should do. But we have to first understand that in my portfolio, I would like to add projects which I'm really kicked about. So one way is to actually go through this list, this laundry list, and then think around, music is something which I'm really, really connected to. Yeah, and Spotify is something which I cannot spend a single day without. Okay, let me see what all things Spotify is doing. Okay, so Spotify has so many verticals of experiences. And when you suppose you are joining a job at Spotify, you will be either working on the onboarding team. So in onboarding team, there might be one or two designers mapped to the onboarding part. Creating the playlist part, maybe two designers or three designers. And then there will be respective PMs, and then there will be respective the development team. And the development teams are usually 10 developers, one design, and one PM, some ratio kind of this. So usually developers are more. And this is how the PMs will actually work on this thing, that, okay, for creating a playlist is something we need to add this feature which will bring this kind of a difference. And the root intention for this is to increase the monthly active user or the daily active user of Spotify, or to convert free users to premium or a subscribed user. So there will be a lot of project briefs given to you, and as a UX designer, you'll be working on it, right? So when you are actually creating it from scratch, and if you are referring to Behance portfolios, then you will work like that only. So basically, when you are actually like seeing a portfolio like this, Pratibha Joshi's portfolio, if you see, I can show you this Narendra Modi. This case study is open, rest of the projects are locked. So this is the narration part I will go, but the way the final outputs she has shown is that, okay, this is one animated prototype and one core verified secured onboarding. This kind of a result. This shows that the portfolio is extremely mature. But on the other hand, this leafy kind of a approach, na, one or two project is okay. Otherwise, it looks too bookish or too much method oriented, very orthodox portfolio, I would say. But these are all practical portfolios. This is something which people can easily understand. Oh, this was the problem, this is the solution, this is the value that you're creating. This is really great. So this, please use these all products, please use this page flows page, because you will find lot of examples which you can actually borrow on. Then the second thing from where you can actually get is that, for example, you see that, okay, for me, health is very important or fitness is very important. Let me go to fitness, and we have Fitbit, so many products. We have Noom, we have Strava. So okay, let's go to Strava. Then when you go to Strava, you see all the fitness related things. Now you go to Play Store, because you want real user problems, right? So you go to Play Store and you click Strava. So this is the Strava app, Strava. And in Strava, you can see there are 779,000 reviews. You can go down and you can see all the reviews that you can possibly find. And also, I guess you can actually, so you can actually see all these reviews which are chronologically placed. See all reviews. When you go to all reviews, then you can check the ratings. Somewhere you find two ratings, somewhere you find one rating. Okay, this person is actually facing a real problem. The app is what is, however, the most recent Android app. So the location has viewed the app up. There is no longer the option to allow GPS permission all the time, only while app in use, which means as soon as the screen shuts off, the app loses access to GPS. So these are all bugs and problems that are addressed. Not all will be meaningful for you, but this will be actually kind of a go starter for someone to understand that what all problems happen. Suddenly, if you start without doing research, then professionals, when they review a portfolio, they will find a lot of gaps and corners in it. But if you are actually going through actual user feedback, these are real user feedback, then you are, see, tracking is absolutely brutal. Tracking the past 2 months is constantly wrong. Tracks may run as going over houses and water on a road along the coast. I've uninstalled the app to ensure permissions are correct. Still, it is a problem. So that means someone is facing problem with tracking in a health app, in a fitness app. So all these things will give you small clue. Okay, so all these things is going to give you small clues that, okay, tracking is something which is having a problem. Let me, if I have this thing, maybe I can see the general browsing or setting goals in Strava, how the experiences are. So I have the real application. You can even install it in your phone. You can be a user and add your own insights also. But this is how you can find all the key screens through which it is happening. And every project that you spend at least 1 or 2 months, 2 months minimum you have to spend to first immerse yourself in a domain that you are confident with, and then you have to do deep dive of this kind of competition analysis. And this will actually help you understand that, okay, so we will actually, fill this thing. So let's say that we will work on mobile for this project. So we'll make it bold, and we will work on a fitness product for this thing. So once you have narrowed down, so basically you have a fitness project to do or for mobile, and then this is an end-to-end project that you have to do. So you will find problems from fitness apps. So you can go to this page flows, page flows. You have so many fitness apps. You can go to all the fitness apps. You can check it in the Google Play Store, and you can actually find the core problem areas. So this will help you define the problem also that you're trying to solve. Right. So all these things are hacks which will help you get to land on a promising project. Otherwise, if you think from thin air, it is very difficult, and you feel extremely lost that what project I should start with. But these are some good conversation starter for a project, right? Same is for example, this is for mobile, and the second one you are saying that chalo, I will work for say web. This is a mobile thing, and this is a B2C thing. So mobile B2C, this one is web B2B, or this is also say, yeah, it can be web B2C also, no problem. So by the way, B2C and B2B are business to business and business to customer, right? So you have a mobile project, you have a web project, and this thing can also be for web, or it can be for mobile, depending on which company you are applying for. If that their product is mostly mobile centric, then you better make it like add the strength of that discipline basically. And this is also something you can say. So this is fitness related thing. Maybe the second one can be related to travel, which you guys are already doing. And then the third one that you can do is it can be related to say can be related to music or anything. So it will show that you are familiar with three domains, and then these are the three projects. You can add e-commerce also. E-commerce has a lot of value testers. You can add e-commerce, you can add travel, fitness, anything you want. Say all these things, you're promising recruiters basically. If you see, all of them are actually these are companies, and each company has lot of jobs across the world, and all the disciplines are equally important because it represents a respective business, right? So you can go to gifts, Moonpeak, Touchnote. They are two companies. So if you want to visualize yourself that I'm a UX designer at Moonpeak, then better understand what their scenarios are in, right? If you have seen job posting, they usually say that familiarity with Fluent, Apple design system, and material design is an advantage, right? They write, right? iOS, iOS, and then this one maybe you can rely on existing design system, and this is something where you are creating your design system. This one. So because if you are relying on an existing design system, say you are working on let me just pull in a design system. So there are this design system has a very good website, design system repo, and I think this one only, design systems gallery. So many famous design systems are already kept here. So suppose you are working on say material design system, material.io. So you are actually working on a heuristic evaluation of Google Drive or Google Sheet or anything, and you are actually referring to material design system. Actually, in Figma also you get all these design systems. Like you can have the material 3 toolkit, and you can actually rely on the toolkit to create the flow. So basically, you have all these components of material design system, and you you leverage on this design system to create your this thing. Just stretch it out a little bit. Yeah. So this is something which you are basically leveraging on to see to use all these UI components to create the screens. So this actually helps you to let me just pull this thing. This actually helps you to show that okay, throw me in a design system. I know how to work with the design system, and I can work on that. And I have worked on, so this one is Android, or this is iOS, and then this is material.io design system, this one, and then this one is creating a design system. So when you're creating a design system, you're showing that okay, I can create all the components from. So as a fresher, this will add lot of values that you have craft skills of the trend knowledge to present. Okay, so now, so basically what we have just now thought is that how do you add projects and how do you find projects? So this is a painful phase and you have to be patient and follow some these kind of processes to discover projects. In course of time, I recommend you to actually, spend time on these websites like Sharpen.biz. So they keep your, the muscles of your brain uh, active, like you can generate new challenges every day, like design a hologram paired app for a composer in Mexico, design a mobile nav menu for a dog food brand, then create a handmade logo for a gardener in Spain, try futurist styling. So it keeps on generating different these things. So I can choose a category as product and UX, and all the challenges will be like design a live chat UI for an airport in the UK. So this will actually keep you healthy, keep your brain healthy with quick problem solving, immediate results. Also, this I don't know if you have heard about daily UI challenge. It's kind of I think 160 days of challenge, 167 days of challenge. Every day, if you register in daily UI, they will actually share one topic. These are the topics actually. Sign up. So you have to create a sign up page and post it in Dribble or Behance that you've created a sign up experience. And while creating these things, these are also very helpful because you can actually go to user flows. Like uh, you can go to the sign up user flow, for example, sign up, and then there are so many sign up experiences. Signing up on Citymapper, then like signing a document on DocuSign. Then there are a lot of sign up experiences basically. So these things are actually kind of your extra things which you can add in your portfolio. That I am a very passionate UX designer and I try to keep my muscles healthy by practicing these things every day. So this will be the fourth section of your portfolio, which where you can add all these things apart from your projects. So whenever you are in an interview, the last so I can show you some dribble things, dribble daily UI. Yeah. So the end result is so simple as this: a single page like this, and you actually this is kind of your social media presence also, and it shows that you are how you are good with your UI, what is your foundation of UI, do you apply the basic principles of UI, and also it also shows your visual design like skill sets. They are really nice examples. And if you're doing it in very less time, then your muscle becomes so strong that in case you are going through an interview where you are asked for a live exercise, what happens is that you will get the exercise 5 minutes before the interview. The interview will be for 45 minutes or 1 hour, and you have to solve the problem and present it in also in 45 minutes. So every day, if you do one daily UI challenge and do it for 100 days, you will have a healthy dribble portfolio. You'll have a very healthy dribble thing, and you will also feel good. Also, these are all nice, simple pages to help you, get okay. This is really nice. And while you are doing it, do not make gross mistakes. You always have some guidelines that what should be the fundamentals of a sign up page, and mostly address that you're not solving a problem. It is not an end-to-end project. It is a single screen thing. And also, yeah, so this collect UI or daily UI challenge, and then sharpen. There are some good examples through which you can create some nice, healthy, quick projects every day. So you will have these three projects, and you will also have an extra section where you will have all this uh, daily UI and all these things which you may add. I have seen folks who have transitioned from non-UX background to UX background, and the way they gained in their speed is by doing daily UI, and after that got hefty package in Amazon and other areas. So these are all things which people value, the companies value. Cool. Okay. So then what we do is that, so this is how you can add projects to your site. But then comes the creating a storyboard for your project. So this is somewhere where we will go, which will I'll mix with the case study part. So if you have seen this channel called FemK, so this is one project which you're showing, which shows that you have done a course in UX design, and you're familiar with all the processes and user-centric design and design thinking, UX process, and everything is well presented. Then comes the way which project. So this is actually an extremely important. So if you see more of a project, it is more of a strategy. That when we started today, we talked about this thing, right? That we will talk about strategy, and this strategy takes most amount of time, because once you start investing your time in creating a project, you will not get time to change it. There is no changing it, right? Because you are going deeper into it. So spend most time in thinking whether fitness, or whether I should do a finance related thing, or I am really weak with finance. Maybe I will do a OTT thing. Okay, I don't know. So spend most time in finding what kind of project is you're passionate about, because people might ask you also that why did you work on this project? What was your motive to work, take it as a self project? Then you can say that I myself as a super user of this domain, someone who is doing lot of yoga can connect to a yoga app more, right? Someone who is more into investment and all those stuff, they are more connected to finance apps. So this is how someone who loves binge watching, someone who has subscribed to all OTT platforms, that person knows better than many users that you are a super user. So you start with your own assumptions and hypotheses, that I will be sharing the problem, the pain points that for example, in TV, in while you're searching in TV, the experience is really bad. But there are few products where the layout of the keyboard helps you to navigate easily with remote. So there are small things which adds lot of value. And if you have seen, Prime Video has totally changed the way they look, and everyone is trying to follow the pattern used by Netflix and all. And so OTT is a huge business these days. So you can work on OTT platforms and all. And even like if you are confused that what thing you should work on, go to page flows, and even without subscribing, I think you can see all the different this thing domains. So what helps in page flows is that you can actually see the different kind of product categories. Right. These product categories are something which help you a lot. You may have totally forgotten one domain, and then while showing you're like, dating, yes, this is something which is good. I want to work on a dating application. Or okay, for me, EdTech is really important. I want to work on an education project. I want to make the next best Skillshare or Udemy of application. So I want to work on something which will, and then some projects are a branch of from main projects. Like Byju's, you can think about an application which can give free education to all poor people for free, and then there will be volunteers. You come as a volunteer, and then you teach over there. And so basically there are two kinds of users you have: one user who is going to teach, one who is going to receive the education, and then your platform is a moderator who connects both. And so basically it encourages people who are actually helping the poor people in a way that they motivate them that this is something you are actually giving to the society. And it also encourages, like I can share one story that I heard in one of the radio channels recently, that in one of the village, one person opened a school where students were given free education for collecting garbage because the village was filthy, full of garbage and everything. So every day those poor kids, they used to collect garbage and give it to the school for free education. And they had 400 students in 1 year. So these are all things which you have to think around this domain, not just another Prime Video, but a Prime Video or a OTT platform which does totally different things than any other product, than any other OTT. So your approach should be like that. So when we go into this last part, so now as you know that this is how I'm going to balance my portfolio. Because if you do not do this pre-planning of how you are balancing your portfolio, you will not be able to start. Now that you know how you have balanced your portfolio, we will go into the engaging, sorry, the spelling mistake, engage your audience. So how do you engage your audience? You engage your audience with some formula. The first formula is known as the problem statement. So if I share the Leafy project, the problem statement, if you read, I'm not sure if you are able to understand. Just read this is what the project is. A go-to social app for discovering great products and finding genuine reviews from experts, friends, and communities. Driven by dynamic and safe communities, you're sure to find things you will love. That means it is a e-commerce platform which is heavily dependent on user reviews. So it is a social e-commerce platform. So what happened is that they mixed social network and e-commerce together in this project. Let us see more projects. So while you are seeing more projects, now you want to find some inspirations for your portfolio, right? One way I already showed you is the Google review thing and the page flows thing. Then the other way is that you can go to a website called Best Folios. So if you go to Best Folios, it curates all the best UX design portfolios ever for today. And if you publish your website, if your website is having lot of footfall, then your website will also be added to this. So when we go to portfolios, yes, we go to UX design portfolio, and then we have tags. The tags are really nice experience for portfolios. So if you go to motion, or if you go to say, so there are a lot of tags, infinite tags actually. So if you are checking for something case study, now you are seeing 242 portfolios where there is a tag of case study. So you can click on Bacon and Bake, and Bacon and Bake, you can actually go to their website, open portfolio website. So this is the actual Bacon and Bake website. If you see, they have lot of case studies. So if you go to work, turning your smartphone into an interior design tool. Then they have towards a new user interface on spatial computing, generating furnishing solutions in real time, giving insights into your investments. So we click it. So this is kind of the problem statement. So usually when you search in best folio and you search highest voted best folio, so there is a way you can actually sort the item based on the way it is tagged. Like you can actually see these things in portfolios in UX design, and you can go to the tags. Say we went to case studies, right? Let's just go to case study portfolio 242. So these are all based on how much people are loving these websites. And once you open, the way they arrange their data is really inspiring. So you can learn a lot from these websites. So we designed and built Cron, next generation saving solution that focuses on making investment opportunities more accessible to the many. So this is the core problem that they're trying to solve. Now, if we remember in Google UX design portfolio tips, they are saying that show your end-to-end process and clearly articulate the user problem and final solution. So the user problem that they're trying to solve is that it is a next generation savings solution that focuses on making investment opportunities more accessible. So this is the core goal of the project. And this is the role. product strategy design, mobile and web app development, data-driven brand identity. So if we are doing all the projects on our own, then how do we even add these roles? So whatever is the core essence of your project, you can add in this kind of tags. Then turning the investment market into an accessible space. So this is describing more about the problem. And since this is a design agency, the work will not be like leafy. It will be more on a solution driven thing. See, can we add micro interactions in our screens directly? So this is a best professional way of showing it. Nothing can be better than this, right? Right. And then you have all the different areas. And okay, so this is, I think, the project that they were talking about, a tailored savings plan. And see, this is something which is extremely important. If you remember, show the problem. This may show the end-to-end process, clearly articulate the user problem and final solution, and also the impact of the project. So this is the impact of a live project. So this, unfortunately, you will not be able to add, because this is something which happens only when your project goes live. Okay, so now if we see that this is kind of our creating a, like, how do you engage your audience? You have to find this kind of good portfolios which will help you. So this tags actually is a very nice feature which you can use to shortlist good portfolios. So I have shortlisted few portfolios, so we don't beat around in the bush. I can show you in experience. We have portfolios. So at times you keep on landing on good portfolios, and this is how you can, actually keep track of them. So there are behind zeros, lot of things which you can actually keep on adding. So yeah, so the way this person, so as I'm sharing these portfolios, please try to look into the website layout also. So we'll go deeper into the project, one or two project, and then we will come back into how you can make your online portfolio. So like this is, hi, I'm Ashwini, and then these are all the projects that I think she was working with Microsoft, and there are multiple projects from Microsoft that she's added, Microsoft Classroom and all. So this is kind of a very nice way, nice format of presenting the problem statement and all. So Microsoft Classroom for iOS and Android. Middle and high school students' lifestyles have shifted from routine to unpredictable. They are overwhelmed with after-school activities, practices, other obligations. Students struggle to efficiently stay on top of their homework in a way that accommodates their on-the-go lifestyle. So this is the problem statement. And then the solution is Microsoft Classroom is the mobile hub for Microsoft's education suite. App increases student productivity by providing them a streamlined way to prioritize work and collaborate. Then there are demo videos. So these are from the actual product which was shipped. So from the starting from the sign up experience, this is that entire experience which is there, and she has recorded the screen and has added. But you can also do the same using Figma. You can create your prototype like this, and the end-to-end flow you can add it in such a small space. So this is a extremely compact way of presenting the solution. So if you see the format, problem, and the solution, then my role, process, then it goes to the entire process that was went through, right? Not that you go through entire thing then you're looking for the solution. So this is a very nice way of engaging your audience. So when I'm saying engage your audience, this is how you can engage your audience. You give them a bait that this is the final thing that I have achieved, and this was my role. I did all the UX, interaction design, oversaw development of this V1 app with participation in user research, project management, and visual design. Team: one interaction designer, one visual designer, one user research, three engineer, one PM. Then this was the process. There were a lot of schools which were visited, teacher interviews, app analysis, information synthesis, and UX goals. So even if it is at a rough level, you can add. It will not be a problem. Then you have the user flows and wireframe. Even this level is also fine, no problem. Then below are some early wireframe drawing that incorporated these flows, right? And then user studies and iterations. So there are a lot of iterations. So iterations are sometimes really good to show that you are developing and a thing is continuously evolving. If you are only showing one final result and not sharing the journey where you have fallen, where you have understood some problem and you fixed it, so this becomes a more engaging way of showing, right? then working together. So this is, I think she highlighted how she has worked with a direct team and a large team. And then these are some interaction details. So those were all animated things. These were animated things. So she added static screens about interaction details. So you can relate it to the Uber Eats thing that I was showing you from YouTube. So you can say where the primary view to do, then this is the past view. So they submitted, this is the status which gives students quickly updated and graded. No scores are shown on top level past view. Students said that seeing bad grades in the list can make them feel bad, you know. So there are so many user verbatins which are addressed in the solution. Then the cell view. So this is one particular cell that was created, one particular cell, and how what is the anatomy of that cell. Then navigation and class view. So while doing this simple thing, there are so many surfaces where the experiences were designed, right? Like this is the navigation and class view. Then you have assignment details view. Then you have assignment turning, reminders, conversations, outcomes, right? So what was the outcome of it? In as Microsoft project, you can easily do an outcome, but as a sales project, what you can do is that you can do some research with the user and take it to them and get their feedback. That can be one of the outcome that you can add for a sales project. Then if I take you through, so this is kind of a very nice and crisp way of how a story is presented. I can show you an example from how Pratibha Joshi also presented. I like her portfolio a lot, the way she has worked. So if we see this is the only thing which is open. Other things are all locked. So this is a single app for large group communication and work management. So this is a mega chat application with lot of groups and subgroups for political activities. So a similar pattern that you can see, that what is the role and duration, then what is the problem. So highlighting it in a special color actually emphasizes it a lot, that there are poor team collaborations can become to an organization success. Managing multiple tasks can be difficult, especially when you have many happening simultaneously for an organization with over 7 million people. Then without a system, it is impossible to assign, prioritize, manage, and complete tasks in time. So there is a 5-day workshop that happened. So this is a user research that happened. There are qualitative interviews that happened. There are insights that were generated. Then there were user profiles. So these are the core personas that were created. And then there were conceptualization. So this is also a very crisp way of showing a very compact project. You are not spending 30 minutes like that leafy project. That leafy project is a mega project and it is quite overwhelming also. So you keep on scrolling. So if you ask me personally, they are added just for the sake of showing that I have gone through theory. I mean, not so much is also required. It sometimes makes you feel like you are a super student. You are not a professional. But on the other hand, this kind of a project shows that you have sensitivity to show that much what is important. Right? Then this is the solution part. So one of the solution is this, a screen is recorded, verified secured onboarding. So you choose the language, then you add your mobile number, then you proceed, then you get an OTP, you enter the code, you verify it. So flat flow actually, not super innovative, but at least you show that this is how it goes, and it shows all the dirty states, the preloaders and the loader states and everything in the experience. Then communicate with your entire value chain. So then you have coordinate tasks for common work scenarios. So this is extremely easy to understand from the presentation, right? Yeah, so then web tools for admin. So she worked also on a desktop, on a web version of it, where she worked on the web tools for admin and how admins can find, what all things are happening and all. Then the usability testing was done, and then the results which she got, and then the learnings that came as part of the project. So these are all very nice flows of showing the project in stacks. So we are actually going to see similar examples so that we know that how we can actually frame the projects inside these things. How do we actually define a problem? How do we define our role? Then how do we understand the problem by empathizing with the user through user research? Then we find insights. Then from the insights, we propose solutions. So this is a very healthy flow of the project that you're showing. Okay, then let me pull other example projects. Redesigning DoorDash food delivery app. So this is redesigning a door delivery app, as I think from Anamita. So these kind of projects, they are more jazzy. So they have lot of colors and like this. Then project brief and scope of work, say heuristic evaluation, problem identification, wireframe, all those things. Then yeah, so these are like pretty basic stuff. So this is a very basic project. So this is a heuristic evaluation that was done on the existing application, and then there were wireframes which were created. Then you have the visual language, color palette, typeface, onboarding and sign. So see, this is an example project which does not create lot of impact. So if you create something like that, I mean the way it is represented, it shows that okay, I have done some wireframing. See, it is all being cut. So if you recall how Pratibha showed it, she respected the wireframing. She showed every part of the wireframing, not like a trailer. Okay, I did wireframing, I did some visual language, color typeface, user interface. So this is as good as not adding it, right? If you are adding it, then add it properly. Then you have this some kind of a color palette. This is a very compromised way of storytelling. I will not give this at all a good score for this kind of a project, right? Okay, then we have few other portfolios which we can discuss. Like one of the things, if I remember, yeah. So she's an experienced designer and a former art director at Microsoft. But I think most of her work are art direction. Yes, Jayati Bandhavata, I think she worked on. She's also from Microsoft, I guess. Yeah. So this is the website redesign. So when you are adding website design projects, then the website design projects are like you take the best way to do a fix is to take up a government website and fix it. If you can understand what a problem statement is and what is the background. So this is a very nice background of showing the consequence or showing the background of the problem of US. But the problem statement is that I want people to use, I mean, old electronic product, or I want to extend the life of old electronic product, right? And then the possible solution is that best solution for the treatment of electronic waste is to recycle it. Recycling old electronics allow donating electronics to the needy, reuse as often as possible. Look for an environment friendly label. Okay. So okay, this is also why I started this project. Then you have the design thinking process. The timeline is 12 weeks, 30 plus screens. Discover, define, iterate, design, and test. Then the stakeholder questions. Okay. So you have gone into, can you please elaborate about the project product? What are the primary objectives? What are the key challenges? Okay, so these are all stakeholder questions and you have done a user research. And these are some survey reports from the user research. So anyone, if you want to go into deep, so we'll fly through and then we can come back. So I'm right now just flying through the portfolio, and this is how a portfolio will be actually reviewed also in real life. So we'll try to understand the context. We'll spend some time here, then we'll go into the details. So people will not spend much time here, and then when the user research is happened, okay, this is a background, qualitative and quantitative research. Okay, survey reports were created, results were there, survey response and insights. Then you did affinity mapping. Then the user personas were created. Then the root cause analysis instead of using and repairing the same. So you have used the process of asking 5 W's, 5 whys till you reach to the solution. I guess everyone is familiar with it. And then you have the customer journey map, created the customer journey map. Okay. Then you have the conceptual model. Then you have the information architecture, and then you have the visual designs. Okay. Get inspired. So these are all the splash screen that you've created. Then you have lot of questions and lot of details of your research. So this can be really, yeah. So this can be really helpful when you are actually doing that end-to-end project. So your one of the end-to-end projects is almost ready, you can say. So there are a lot of survey reports that you have. But out of these survey reports, if you can highlight some of the parts which are creating an insight, because all of them are result of your survey. But each survey, do you know what is easiest? 107 responses. if you can write the summary of your survey report, that people, 75% people are aware, the high level summary of survey report, then without people, because they will not go into each detail, rather they read this high level survey that 75% people are know they know about e-waste, 76% are concerned about it, and 45% are coming out of home appliances. So my target customers are actually manufacturer of home appliances. All those inferences, if they come out of it, then it is more helpful from the research. Then you have all these are pretty textual things. So reading all these things, we have to think about strategies to reduce the stress on the people who are actually looking into it. So everything wants to change. There are actually a lot of text. So Vijay, if you can work on this part, the survey response and insight, and making it little bit crisp with some kind of a typography. Like once you may not highlight everything, but you can actually make say uh, increase the size of the response, like the same way how this portfolio that we were seeing right now, the portfolio of Pratya Joshi, if you remember, yeah, this one, so is, yeah, like this kind of in a very let's go at the top. So writing the minimum as possible and adding value to it. So see, these are the insights, how the insights are grouped into different buckets of feature or user stories, which can be later worked on. So if you can actually divide it into respective buckets, that there is something which is related to awareness, there is something which is related to action, there is something which is related to rewards. So these are the three things: action, rewards, and awareness. And these are the three buckets that I want to work on in my app. Now that will actually create a more clearer communication. Then you have affinity mapping. So this is still related to the user research. I would again say to use minimum text, which so that it becomes more engaging. Then you have the user persona. So as I mentioned, color codes should be used with also something keeping in mind that why we should not add too many colors. So if it is part of the define or the discovery phase, we add the same color here. But I think this is a really nice persona card that I'm seeing over here. Really nice and crisp persona card, which everything is pointed out. Then we have, yeah, this root cause analysis is also good, but then maybe we can add one inference line that what is the root cause. Then we have the customer journey map. This customer journey map is also good, but because the way it is traveling, the highs and lows are very difficult to understand. But this is on the high part of it, because it is from the top we are seeing. But if the customer journey maps are in a graph, it becomes easy to understand where it is dipping, where it is moving up and all. Then we have the conceptual model. Yeah, this conceptual model is something which is not very frequent to see. So someone needs to go through it. User inter the This is a, I think, kind of a high level user flow only. They'll populate. Okay. So you can create it like this is kind of a more on a high level user flow. Okay, repair, service, scrap, donate, and awareness in each flow. Here also, if you can actually add little bit of less text as a description, it will add lot of value. I mean, I totally support that we need to keep it, but little bit less text. Then okay, the information architecture. Open your mobile app, you either log in or you sign up. Then you enable the location. Then you have the home screen. Okay, and in the home screen you have 5 menus: search, repair, service, scrap, donate, and these are all the respective things: product name, service center, scrap collector. So in between you can actually have a qualitative card sorting exercise also, which may have helped you in information architecture. But because usually when you're doing it on your own, if you're talking to people and if you're getting a card sorting done, then it supports how you found it. Otherwise it's okay if you don't want to make it heavy. Then you have the select a product, select a service center, then book an appointment. Okay, payment done. Then in the service you have select a product, select service center. So basically the problem that you're trying to solve is people will consciously try to repair their product or service their product or scrap it or donate it. So these are the 4 ways people will be able to take care of it. for the US product. So, so see, when people will review your portfolio, they will see that you have done stuff which are religiously made. But in this stage, we might, we might expect questions which are around your experience. That what kind of, how do you nudge users? For example, if Vishal, if your mic is working, how do you nudge users to do all these things, which currently also they can do without that? Like this repair thing, this is you are actually, for example, take a use case scenario. You have a old tape recorder or a old monitor in your house. The monitor is not working. Now the usual thing that we do is that we call the scrap person, we give it to that person, and then that person actually takes it to the scrapyard, maybe does e-waste. But to be responsible, to nudge people to take a conscious decision, how is your app helping? So that is the core solution that we want to go into a detailed conversation into, right? Because when we are over expecting from our users, then we are actually trying to, yeah. So this is something which happens during these interviews where people say that, okay, we will go to repair tab, we will select the product, and we'll select a service center, and then we'll book an appointment, and then the payment is done. This is the usual flow of repair. But this thing itself is a product. I mean, repairing platform where you can. This is actually, this is so high level that it is not touching on the solution, and it is actually creating a very high level framework. But then on the high level framework, people will ask that why do you expect people to even do this thing using your app rather than they call the, you have a Samsung phone and it is not working, you will go to the Samsung service center, right? Why should I install an app and use the service center from that app? So these questions will eventually come. So for everyone, the learning from this part is that if someone wants to go deeper inside it, then be ready for all the answers. That's it. I'm not trying to go into a critical conversation with this project, but the point is that people may want to ask about the novelty or the innovation that you have thought about in this part. Okay. Then I must say that this visual design part, this is also really well made. It is really hard to see. I mean, you have done a fantastic job of using this. And here, maybe you can add an asterisk that the illustrations are not made by me or the illustrations are borrowed from here. So people will like your honesty also. Otherwise, people get confused that, oh, this guy is good with illustrations also. But if you have made the illustrations, you can write that I have made the illustrations. No, speak out. And then this is something which is usually not recommended, Vishal. That you mix up all the screens as if it was a laundry list of all the screens and you just put it without having the flows, without having things talking to each other. Why this drawer is coming up, what is the context for this drawer. It is super high level, so people will not understand anything from this. So the best way to do it is that you have one area, one bucket which is verified secured onboarding. Show that. Communicate. If it is not an animation, no problem, but show the different part of this thing one after the other. You have intro, process, discover, define, ideate, then these are the design screens, then this is the conclusion. So this is a mega project, right? But for one person, this is doable. You have to spend 2 to 3 months to reach to this level. And at the end of it, the most important thing is the solution, how well you have solved it. So do not think that if I fill my portfolio with 100 pages, I will get a job because I have done information architecture, I have done user flow. Someone who wants to grill you, that person can grill you by seeing this information architecture only. They don't need to see anything else. So do not do a research which has a bad outcome. Show lesser research, but show a matured outcome is more important. Just for the sake of doing a checkbox that I have done primary research, I have done secondary research, I have done empathy map, I have done user persona. So this is not a checkbox checklist of all items that people check and then they give you a job. They may want to see, finally, the final end result is extremely important that they will see. And this kind of a wireframe is used useless. I don't know where I'm clicking, where I'm going. This is a useless wireframe. But if I show you a productive wireframe, this is a productive wireframe. See what she has done. Yes, I'll share. So this is a productive wireframe. I can actually see, I'll just zoom it a little bit. See, it's all numbered. Slash, language selection, mobile number verification, verification code, hierarchy level selection, state selection, designation, profile detail verification, like that. And then this is all about onboarding flow for a new user, onboarding flow for a pre-board user, and then this is task creation flow. This is how you create a task. So this is a high level. I mean, this is a task flow which is really useful, and people know actually what is happening over here. I am not lost in this portfolio, but in Leafy, actually I am lost. It just shows that okay, I have a checklist of 1,000 things and I have done 1,000 things. So I, as a hiring manager, will be less impressed with this portfolio than the other one more. And also, if you see the end result is discover good things. You know, the experience will make sense when it says that I open the app, suddenly there is a notification. I click it, then this drawer opens up, and then it actually arranges stuff based on my browsing history and my social connection. So the story is not communicated well. You just put up screens and put them that say I have made 100 screens, I have made 1,000 pages of report. This is not the end goal by the way. So people get misled with all these Behance portfolios that I have to add, oh my portfolio is prepared, my customer journey map is remaining. I don't know if I have to make a customer journey or a user journey map that is remaining. Let it be. If it is not required, it is not required. But someone will actually look into the solution of this thing rather than into the checklist. So this is a very important thing for everyone. This what all things we have completed and if what all things are left. So far you have seen, like the general guides for a portfolio. So we'll do a quick recap. We have a general guide of our portfolio that we will add 3 to 5 projects, and we have found a strategy to identify 3 projects and distribute our skill set accordingly, and also across different platforms and mobile and web and B2C and the respective category based on some research that we can do from page flows or Google Play Store reviews, like that. And the extras can be found through daily UI and stuff like Sharpen, all those kind of tools can be used to do some activity daily like this. Okay, then what is our next thing? It is about preparing your story, how you want to prepare your story, how to add projects, creating a storyboard for your project. So this is a steady storyboard for your project, that how my projects will be presented. And this is a way where we are talking about, there are so many things open actually. Yes. Yeah, and this is how my narration will go. So every project that we are actually talking about, this project, we have to write a narrative first. So before starting your project, just create a user flow like this, that okay, I will create the project cover. I will have the project cover. So let me make it say 36. Okay. And after the project cover, I will add, like if we have to break it down, I have overview, role and duration. I will have overview of my project, and I will also have my role, and I will have duration. And this is and all this is, kind of my role and duration are nested under it. They are child of this part, like this. And then we will talk about the problem. So you have to write it down in a piece of paper, that how you want to move this whole thing, the problem. So this is your strategy. This is how you will estimate your time. Then you will do user research. So like how Vishal has shown, how he has made a plan for 3 months. So this is the problem, and then we have user research. In user research, whatever you are planning, that okay, in user research, I think I will do a Google Doc thing. So for Google Doc, the respective action item for me is to prepare a questionnaire. Okay, done. And then I will do some. video interviews. Video interviews you will do, and then for that you have to reach out to friends. Reach out to friends in WhatsApp or Zoom, and then record the call. Okay. First you have to identify which friends are making sense, like that. Then you have to think about, okay, I will do this, and then you can add that, okay, I want to do a competitive analysis. I want to do a competitor analysis. You will be doing. Suppose you are working on this fitness project, then you will do a competitor analysis also, right? So the one thing that I really like about Leafy project is they have done a fantastic competitor analysis. So till here, see, all these things are a byproduct of that storyboard that you are writing. See, you have Ye, Trail, SimSim, Friendspire. These are the logos, 4 applications, their description, their user experience, and all these things are different features of the products. That product recommendation, interest personalization, expert recommendation, all these things. And whether each product has yes, 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 no. So the more columns have yes are mandatory feature for your product. The columns which are having most no are priority second level things for you. They are not important for you. So this is how you can do a backtrack and actually see what all things are important for your product and what all things are not important. So this is a fantastic example of competitor analysis. You can refer to it. Yeah. Okay. So after you do the user research, let's go back and let's see. You have the qualitative interviews. So this is the video interviews, or maybe I'll say qualitative interviews, right? Qualitative interviews, like that. So this is the thing, and these are some of your byproducts or action items, I would say, like this. And then you have the competitor qualitative interviews. Then you have the insights part. So basically, then comes the insights. Then what will come is the user profiles. User profiles are very important. So you are working on a real estate project, on a real estate application. Then you will have user profiles like people who wants to buy a house, wants to sell a house. Some there will be brokers who are connecting buyers and sellers, and then there will be admin people who are managing all those paid subscribers, or they are converting or upselling their products. So there are 3 strong user profiles like 99 acres, right? Then you have the conceptualization. Conceptualization. Okay. Then after conceptualization, you have the solution. Conceptualization and you have the solution. So sorry, again my keyboard is okay. And then you have the solution. So for conceptualization, you can do lot of whiteboarding. So whiteboarding is like take a piece of paper, or if you have an actual whiteboard, you draw in solutions, you try to ideate, and it may happen throughout the project. If I am supposed to create a crypto app or something, then I'm already deeply involved in it without the research being completed, because I am building lot of hypotheses. I am building lot of assumptions, which I'm trying to validate in my research also, right? So whenever we also go for user research, we have created something and take it to user and ask what is the problem. Because we have a ready product which people are using, we ask them what is the problem that you're facing, like that. But then there are a lot of research which are called generative research, where we have nothing, but we have to give some kind of stimuli to get something out of the user. So depending on the context, you have to choose the kind of research, but you are free to move around all these things. So this solution part is actually, so this is whiteboard. Then you have some sketching that you have done, right? You have done some sketching. Then you may have done some kind of workflows, and then the solutions are actually your hi-fi products. Hi-fi products. You have the protos, you have the figmas, you have the animations, and you have all those things basically. So you have to write a storyboard like this, and then you can put some kind of a timeline that, okay, because see, user research is something, and then what is that action item that you have to take? The action item is that for the project cover, you need to find a hero image, right? In the beginning, you do not have a hero image, so maybe you put a placeholder, right? You put a placeholder for the time being. Later on, you will find a hero image, placeholder for now. So try to put everything in a Figma and try to fill it up and see how things are taking shape. Do not wait for the other thing to happen so that it starts. Keep it organic, which helps a lot. So you need a hero image for this. For overview and this thing also, you can actually write this thing. So this is something which you can actually write. This is kind of a, I would say, like zero 0.5 day kind of a task. And then the problem is something where you will spend most amount of time. This is something which will come after say 1 week. After 1 week of all the research method for finding project that I discussed, maybe like that. And then these things, the more granular it is, like you can create, you keep it 1 week for this thing, 1 week for this thing. You can keep for the video call, you also can keep one more week. Computer analysis, you can do 1 week. And then after all these things, you can actually add stuff like, okay, I will create a journey map. I will create a journey map is extremely important for me to get the stuff done. I will do an information architecture, which is very important for me for seeing how the information should fall. Information architecture and journey map is important. So this is that E2E project process that I'm trying to write down. And then you have this journey map and information, and this is the byproduct. So both of them can be done together. Then that insight part, whatever insights you are finding, this for this insight part, you have to do a synthesis, right? For your research that you have done. You have to do synthesis, and then synthesis might take 1 week. Then you have the user profile. So the user profile may also take 1 week. Then this conceptualization phase might take 2 weeks. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are 2 months down, and this is something solution you can find in maybe 3 weeks. So this is a 3 month plan. So if you have this kind of a plan in place, then things become easier for you, right? And then what is the action item and what is the due date? So you can add your own due date and you adhere to this calendar. This helps to close, because if you are not able to understand the problem or identify the problem, then it will be forever thing for you. Because some opportunity comes, that opportunity will not wait, and at that time your adrenaline is rushing. But if you do not have anyone pushing, it can take up to 1 year also. So so that's why this is a conservative way of doing it, because this is a not a aggressive timeline, by the way. This is a very conservative timeline. If you cannot finish it in this much time frame also, then you have to seriously see your, check your time. So, 1 week for problem discovery, because this is the most anxiety filled phase. You don't know whether it's a fitness app or it's a OTT platform in the first place. I mean, this is the most pathetic time. But once you have something that I'm making a OTT app for mobile phone and something with people can enjoy with phone, then or something like a TikTok or Instagram Reels or something like that. So then it becomes really easy that, okay, I know that I will reach out to user, I'll find something. Absolutely, I'll find something. I will do test research. I'll do. This is based on your zeal, how you want to finish it. You can finish it in less time, but this is time taking. And then this one also, finding the conceptualization also, it takes time. Usually that takes more time. And when you work in a company, when you have devs and PM, then this goes round and round and round. You present a solution and PM say that we don't like it, devs say it is not feasible, and again you fall back, again you do something. It's very stressful actually, this part. I have to spend lot of effort to understand that how is this discover good things like so special. So maybe some kind of labels are important, highlighting these parts, that this is how, I mean, it's not well articulated. They're like separate discrete screens put in a random order. I don't know whether I should travel like this or like this, or how do I travel in the experience. I don't know, because experiences are journeys. Like we start somewhere, we end somewhere, and the whole intermediate thing is the experience, what we're designing, right? So I'm not sure what to look into these things, and these are all beautiful, meaningless things at first glance. Then I have to put in lot of effort, and if I'm desperate to hire this person, I'll be trying to spend my energy. What is it trying to say? Okay, feed, and you have quick peaks. Okay, these are the feeds which are coming, and suddenly it is ad. Okay, this is suggested for you to follow. So maybe some highlighting these areas in your experience, that I'm talking about this part. Look at this part, and this is the innovation that I have brought. How lot of information is presented in a nice way. The AI algorithm which puts the, based on your browsing pattern, they puts the topics of your interest first and all, those things. But without that, it is almost difficult for me to understand. But on the other hand, I will give you another, pitfall. Like when I was reviewing Pratibha's UX, this flow, there, because this is very pretty straightforward and easy to see, the mistakes are very easy to capture, right? Like if I show you that this is a splash screen, I choose the language, I put the OTP, then I put the OTP, I do verify, then I choose state, then I go to Gujarat, and then I do a select designation, then I put a profile verification, then profile approved. Okay, this is not the screen maybe, but there was one of the screen where things were coming out too loud and we could understand it could have been made better. Like this task creation, that onboarding is not a difficult experience to create. This is a very pattern driven typical experience. We put our mobile number, we choose language, we get OTP, that's it, done. And we give some permission setting. Please send for verification, all those things. But the difficult experience creation is creating tasks. Like I currently work in Dynamics 365 sales for Microsoft, and it is a extremely complicated B2B product. And we manage tasks, we delegate tasks to different users based on their persona automatically. It's a super complex experience. But the way this is done, that okay, I create a chat, like this is home chat screen, then group chat screen, then you have inbuilt chat action to create tasks. So give a task, create a poll, like that. And I think this is how the task is delegated. It is awaiting response. See, this is technically correct, but if there is some glitch here and there, it is easy to catch. But in this kind of a leafy project, it is actually create lot of bad food and present it nicely, and you will be lost. But you can trick lot of interviewers by showing the one thing that they did really well is that they have consistent presentation style, similar vibe, similar mood across, and the overall presentation is of high quality. So there is a law called law of aesthetic usability effect, that things which look beautiful, we tend to trust that those things. We tend to create, that thing. So these things, this is a beautiful presentation. People will trust this thing. And I'm not criticizing this leafy project. I'm just saying that I feel little bit lost around wireframes like this. I don't know where to look at. When you are actually, suppose if you are looking into like user flows, if you are looking at user flows which are like good user flows, the user flows are created with confidence like this, that this is how it happens. And when I'm creating, so these are like very simple user flows but created with confidence. But like this is how it should be represented. I mean, so that I know how to navigate. This is how things should be represented. See, this is the proper way of representing a user flow. I know that okay, this is from here. So my brain is scanning this entire page and building trust with it. But this thing, my brain is taking it as a lost thing. It is just a collection of red images for me.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, and it has a lot of hard work. But see, if I had moved anything here up and down, it is basically, it can hide its weakness, and which is not honest way of presenting the design actually, like that, right? And okay, so now then the other thing that I want to talk about is they go back to the portfolio presentation. Yeah. So emphasizing your role and contributions, those also we did, and then plan, rehearse, and respect time. So when we are actually trying to present a portfolio, we should give a menu to the audience that my name is this, I have this background about me, one pager, and I am going to talk about these three things today. So when we, in older days when we went to used to go to marriages and all, we used to get menu cards, right? Sitting for someone's marriage or any other this thing. So we used to get a lot of assurance. Okay, there are 15 items in the menu card. We will get so many things one after the other, right? Or you go to Barbecue Nation, you get a menu card of it. These are the things which will keep on coming to you one after the other. So in portfolio presentation, we should create, and in your portfolio, suppose you are creating, I can create very roughly, like this is your first page for your portfolio, and this is your second page, and this is your third and fourth page. So if you can add small experience level things, like if you have, say, I'm creating a high level user flow. Let me delete all this stuff and like see, this is, suppose this is your format, and while you are presenting, this thing is actually progressing. So you are not putting page number, rather you are giving your progress of your project. So at any point of time, we know that if I'm bored also, suppose sometimes a recruiter or the hiring manager is bored, that when is it going to stop, or when can I intervene. So this thing will give you a hint that okay, this is how this project is going, and now I'm nearing completion. These are all small thought things which you can put in your portfolio, and people will love it. So you may have page number. Page number is very typical, right? In documents have page numbers. You can use small experience level things which shows a progress bar. So this is a progress bar for your portfolio, a very sleek, almost invisible progress bar which tracks. So the main core essence is that we are respecting, we are rehearsing, and we are planning and respecting time, right? Okay, and then adding secret ingredients we already talked about. This is the fourth section where you can add micro interactions. You can add like your explorations other than your projects, like daily UI stuff and all, right? And then the last thing, which I want to discuss today is creating your online presence. So creating a website is also painstaking. You are already creating project, then you have to also create website. It is too much of an ask, right? So I will share some resources which can help you create website for your online presence basically. So the first example absolutely is Wix. So you can, actually the best part of Wix is that there are so many good templates. You can buy a subscription plan, get a domain name from Wix, and get a plan of Wix, and I think the total cost is also very less. And then there are a lot of templates to start with. So if you feel that I am in real love with this template, you can view this template, and when once you actually edit this site, you just replace it with your own image basically, and then immediately the thing is done. So if you actually click here, then you go inside this page. I think it's going to editor, but choose a template which is more familiar with you, which is familiar to UX mostly. So these are all art related stuff. Yeah. So see, design to inspire change. Lot of good templates are there for you to exploit. Design to inspire change, and with everything. Okay, open live site. You can see the live site also. See, amazing website ready to consume. Each tile is each project. We have talked about 3 to 5 projects. It will be like that. You have an about section. Amazing about section also. Like it. Yeah, and this is how they can reach to you. This is a nice trendy website. You just use the template and you can change it, right? Or you can create from scratch also if you're familiar with it, which is a nice platform. Recently, Framer has also come up with Framer size. So Framer is a tool like Figma. If you are familiar with Figma, Framer is similar. So you create something in Framer and then you publish it to a website. So the learning curve is even less. You have more controls, and the output that you get is also phenomenal. So there are like let us see a few examples. These are the templates, and if you go to free digital artist, yeah, you can see this one preview. So all these things, right? Once you scroll, it appears. See, very nice, clean website. Take this template and start building on it. Start replacing with your own image. You will spend less time creating your website at least, right? And every page that you click, you go into the page. Then in Framer, you may have to redesign it because imagine the storyboard that we just discussed. That if this is your storyboard, then you have to. This is the hero image, and then follow with your problem statement, the research, and everything. And the best part is that it all adds images, so you can add images and create a website in no time. So these are all really good examples of websites. So you have a nice menu also on the top. About section is also there, contact section is there, right? So Framer is also really good. And then the other good example which I'm trying to learn is Webflow. Webflow is extremely powerful. So yeah, this website is created in Webflow only. Webflow creates stunning websites. That's it. We went through a lot of case studies also. So portfolio is a very complicated and important thing. And I think we touched upon almost all the things for a good portfolio. And last but not the least is that the visual quality of your portfolio is very, very important. So try to put lot of emphasis on the quality of your UI, on the final result of your UI, and also try to connect dots between the research and the final result that you're bringing in. Do not make bad UI stuff like this, where your UI has technical problems like pointless inconsistencies, or some technical problems like how do you use drop shadow. So there are a lot of good UI, bad UI tips. Like if you're creating a simple sign up experience, but you have messed up with a primary, secondary button, someone can unnecessarily point it out in the interview, which is not helpful, right? Then how you are designing the cards, how you're creating, how you're using gestalts, how you're using the hierarchies between different typographies and color, all those things, how you're using iconographies. So all those things add up to a good portfolio, because a good portfolio is something which you can only create once you go through a lot of good portfolios. And the more good portfolios you see, the more you craft. So before I end, the last thing which I think is very, very helpful for everyone who is, there might be people who are struggling with their UI skills and all. So you can try one thing for a few days, and it's going to really help. If someone is struggling with UI, basic UI and presentation and things. So see, this is kind of a Intellipaat workshop only, where we created lot of visual design examples just all. So many posters, everything we created. So this was a visual design exercise that we did. But the important thing is that there is a method called mimic method. So if you want to develop a particular skill or a craft, say you want to create this kind of posters, or you want to create like a minimal UI, right? You want to work on a minimal UI scheme. This is kind of a landing page for some bottle humidifier. So take a screenshot of this thing, and as it is copied, do not put it in your portfolio, but in course of copying it, you will understand all the nuances of hierarchy, gaps, balance, rhythm. Everything will fall in place. You may not be able to create this kind of a modern minimalist UI from scratch, from your mind experimenting, but find similar examples in Pinterest and just copy it. You will understand, okay, this is the type of font in this kind of strength, this is the gap between the lines, this is the kind of the secondary text, there are some vertical lines, and this is a perfect composition. So you can use all these learnings while you are creating your portfolio also. The basic presentation will also improve. So if you think that I, as a designer, my style is to promote minimalism and this kind of Scandinavian Nordic style. So they all of them are Nordic style, right? They're Scandinavian styles. And if you want to promote this across, like suppose you are applying for Google or some other company, which or some European company, you want to promote this, you want to apply for IKEA or something. So you have to create a space, a mood of this kind of language. So it will be reflected not only in your UI, like the best part of Leafy is that they are at least honest to their style, right? So we have to agree that their final UI and their presentation, everything is consistent. So you can also adhere to, or you can also create this kind of consistent experience across. Sorry, not this one. Yeah. Right. So yeah. So you can also create this kind of visual mood in your portfolio. People will be like, wow, this guy is extremely, sensitive towards finer details and modern UI principles and all like this. Thank you, everyone.
Just a quick info, guys. If you want to make a career in UI UX design, then Intellipaat provides an advanced certification in UI UX design strategy. It is taught by IIT Guwahati professors and industry experts with more than 10 years of experience. This course is designed to upskill and land your dream job.